Hello, this is Wael, and I'll be showing you how to convert from NFA to DFA, non-finite automata to deterministic finite automata. So the script is written in Python, and here is the script output, and here is the input to the script. So the input basically the state is 0, S1, S2, S3, and the output for each input. So this is the output for input 0 to that state. And here is, after I run the script, it will show you the original NFA, which is this one, and it will show you the output as well, or the output after conversion to DFA. So let's have a quick look to the script. So basically, I have three functions besides the main in that script. The first one is conversion from rows to columns, and this is basically what it does is get that information from the CSV and add that information to a list. So those are just temp lists. We don't need to talk about those, and those are the lists I need. So states basically states NFA, input 0 output NFA, and input 1 output NFA. In later steps I will add the NFA. And what I have done over here as well, I'm splitting each item in that list as a list by itself. So it's basically a list of lists. This is why I use the item.split. And the last part in that script is I created the states DFA, input 0 output to DFA, and input 1 output to DFA. So let's convert to VIM, because that will be easier. Yeah. And then I will call the initial function. So the initial function will have the states. This is NFA, input 0 output NFA. This is NFA, and the same for DFA. So what I did here is adding initial state and output to the DFA, because that's the basic. So I will add the first state and add the output to DFA from the NFA. Don't pay attention to that. Those should be removed. I used that in previous version of the script, but I didn't remove that yet. And then I will call the create DFA, and this is most of the work. So this is states NFA, input 0, 1 NFA, NFA as well for input 1, and those for DFA. And new states, that's very important because everything will depend on that list. So temp new states contains the output of input 0 for the first state, and output for input 1 for the first state as well, which is S0 in that case. So that list basically contains two values. And I will jump ahead to the create DFA. So the create DFA basically looks at that list here. If that list still contains the information, it will go through it. So every output that we add to the DFA, it will be added to that list. And I'll go through that list, okay? So while temp new states, basically, it means a while true. So if this is true, I will take the first value in that list, and I will assign to that variable, temp new state. And then after I assign that to a new value, I know that this is being worked on, so I no longer need that. So I will delete it from the list, okay? If the length of that variable, remember that variable as well as a list. So if the length of that variable is 1, then I will do that. If the rest of that variable is bigger than 1, it will be defined here in the else. So if the rest of that variable is 1, I will do that. So I will check first if that variable doesn't exist in DFA. If it doesn't exist, then I will add it to DFA. Okay? If it does exist, I will not do anything. Okay? Here, sorry. Okay. So then I will loop through NFA to get the output for that state from NFA. So basically here I'm searching through NFA state. And if it's found, temp new state, if it's found in NFA, I will get the index number from the NFA. That's very important. Here state NFA is just an index, it's just a number, integer. So whether it can be 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. It's less than the length of NFA. So when I find that, I will get the same index value from I0 output NFA and I1 output NFA. This is very important. And I will append those to DFA. I don't have to specify the index in DFA because I am building the DFA. So I'll just add that to the end of the list. This is why I'm just using append and I'm not specifying the index. So now I added the values to the NFA, and I'll add the new values that I found from NFA to that temp new states list, this one, and then I'll continue go through it. Okay, till I empty, till the temp new states list is empty. Okay, so this is the first part of the create DFA. So the other part of that script is if that value is a list that's bigger than 1. So if the length is bigger than 1. Remember the new state that we add in DFA. It can be S0, S1, S2, or S3, or it can be S1, S2. And when it's S1, S2, I call that a combo list. So that combo list need to be treated differently. Okay, so in order to work in that, I created like a couple of combo lists because the output will contain more than one variable in that case. Okay, and I'll go through each one of those. And I will add the output. Excuse me. So basically, as I mentioned, those will be combo lists that I will attach the output to. So in that temp new state, as I mentioned before, this is basically a list that contains more than one value. So I will loop through each value, and the variable will be each. And this is just an index number. And then I will attach that single value in temp new state, because again, temp new state contains more than one variable, to each single in new state. It's a little bit confusing, I understand. And then again, I will do exactly as I did above. I will search the NFA and compare the NFA to that variable. If it's found, that's fine. I will append to the combo. And if it's not found, there's nothing that I will be doing. Okay. And I will go through each and we'll go through everything in that list and keep adding to the combo. And after I finish, I will take that combo. That combo, by the way, might contain 2 lists. This is the output. So those 2 lists need to be added to each other in one long list. That one long list will be converted to a set in order to remove any redundancy, and then will be sorted. And that's very important. Sorting, remove redundancy. And here's another thing, by the way, any empty output in the original NFA need to be ignored. Otherwise, the DFA output will be wrong. And after I finish, I add that combo, which was sorted and the redundancies removed, will be appended to DFA outputs. And then after I finish that entire scenario, the new output to the DFA will be added to the new temp states, and I will have to go through all of that again till temp new state doesn't have any new variable. That's it. Thank you.